Cashflow Pro offers free money management advice to help you take control of your finances. And now here's your host, personal finance enthusiast and licensed insurance broker, James Barber.
Hey, good morning. Good evening, everybody. Feels like we were just here a few minutes ago. Just a few short hours ago. Welcome to Oregon Cashflow Pro. My name is James Barber. I'm here to help you maximize your cash flow. So today is our Wealthcare Wednesday live stream. Here to answer all things finance. If you've got questions, I'm going to do my best to answer it. Provide you guys with the best value that I can. That's what I'm here for. Tell me how you guys are doing. Larry Lee, let's get this party started. All right. Hey, that's the first comment I think I've seen from you. How's it going? How did you find us? Have you been watching for long? Nick, good evening. BDN, help you out. What do you need help with? Talk to me. Tell me how I can help you guys out. If you guys have questions about life insurance, dynamic banking, infinite banking, real estate, mortgages, credit cards, credit. Let's see what I can do. Do the best I can sharing my knowledge. Oh, just money? I just need to give you money. Too funny. So, we finally got the holiday update on our Tesla Model Y. And it's got the boombox feature on it. And the boombox feature, you're able to put in your own sounds, but you're also able to make it play the fart sounds that the car does, and it's pretty funny. I had my elderly neighbor lady who walked by last night. Was it last night? Yeah, I think it was last night. She didn't seem to know where the sound was coming from, but she was kind of looking around trying to figure out what that was. Nathaniel, how are you doing? Finally made it to a wealth care stream. Been a while. All right. Good to have you. Chevy guy, how's it going? You won our shirt recently. Right? Was it a shirt that you won? Yeah, I think it was a shirt. We've been giving away so much stuff lately. Oh yeah, good. Waiting for delivery. They've been getting delivered pretty quick, but I don't know if the holidays have slowed any of that down. So last week, was it last week or the week before? Just this month, we gave away 3 laptops that one of our Discord members offered up. What's it called? Refurbished. He refurbishes them. Awesome laptops. He even gave me a laptop too. Pretty sweet. But he gave away 3 of them to our viewers and our Discord members. And I gave away a Tesla tequila bottle, well, soon to be given away. We figured out who won it. I just haven't got it in the mail yet. It hasn't been shipped to me yet. But one of our viewers in California just got their Tesla tequila. So hopefully that means it's starting to hit the West Coast. They started shipping out to the East Coast, must have been a couple of weeks ago now. So hoping to see those come soon. But we gave that away. And then one of our viewers gave away $100 for Christmas to one of our Discord members. So if you guys are not in the Discord, you got to get in there. You're missing out. We're giving away all kinds of stuff. It's been a blast. And then, of course, every time this boss gets slayed, you can see the boss right above the recent subscriber. Every time that boss gets slayed, we give away a t-shirt. And you can knock down the boss's health when you subscribe to the channel, when you join our Patreon, when you join as a YouTube channel member, or when you just donate. If you do a super chat and you donate, or if you donate through Streamlabs. So a lot of different ways to participate, and all of that helps out the channel as well. So it doesn't cost very much. It's only a minimum of 99 cents to get into the Discord, and everybody you see in here that has a green name and a badge, those folks are in there. So we have a lot of good conversations. So I invite you to join us. And you can always ask questions outside of these live streams. If you ever have a burning question, just private message me there. Top Gun, good evening. How's it going, my friend? Chevy, looking for a good buy-in with SBE again. You thinking you're going to go heavy on position over time. Okay, electric vehicle position is good, but just like the gold rush, you want to be sure you're the one selling the shovels during the gold rush. You feel charging stations will be equivalent to the shovels. Yes, charging stations are going to be good, especially when we've got the president-elect saying that he wants to help build a 500,000 station network across the country. So I think it's great. I mean, that there's definitely going to be money flowing into that arena. And SBE is one of the largest players out there. Somehow, their share price is lower than Blink's. And Blink, I don't know what caused Blink to take off, because from everything that I've seen about it, it's not that great of a company. But since it's taken off, they've actually added some pretty good contracts. So it was pretty surprising. I don't know if one led to the other. But the other thing I was surprised about is that, like, that's a company that could use some money so that they could fix some of their chargers that are already out there, and so they can make more chargers and get those out there. And they never put out a share offering. So their stock price went up from $10 all the way up to $40 and $50, and they didn't dilute the shares. They didn't do a share offering to try and get more money so they could grow better. It doesn't make any sense to me. To me, that's like negligence on the part of the CEO. When you've got all these people willing to put a whole bunch of money in and pay a lot for the shares, and you got all the long-term shareholders that have been in taking advantage of that, they're not going to be mad if you do a share offering. Put yourself in a better position, even if it brings the share price down a little bit, because they're already way up. It's just a better way to run your business, in my opinion. But they didn't do it. There's still a lot of excitement around it, and they're getting some contracts. So might consider Blink. I don't know, but SBE does have the market share. So Larry Lee, hello from Portland, Oregon. All right, second time watching. See me trading some Tesla last week around the merger. Subscribe to learn more. All right, well, welcome. I am a couple hours south of you. I'm in Springfield. Well, I'm just outside of Springfield. So yeah, if you got questions, always feel free to ask. If you're ever watching the live stream where we're trading Tesla, you can always ask questions in there too. Feel free to join the live stream if you want to, or feel free to join our Discord if you want to keep up with folks. If you like to do any type of trading and you like to have a little bit of a community, we found that it's kind of helpful. We're kind of all supporting each other. We identify stocks that other people aren't looking at. And everybody just brings a little bit of a different perspective. Seems to work out pretty good. Baby girl, if you think Tesla go to 1,000, you think if Tesla goes to 1,000, it will be another split, or will it stay like that? I don't think they would split at 1,000. I think Tesla will probably go to a couple of thousand again before it splits. It's hard to say. It depends on the circumstances around it. It's hard to say. I wouldn't think 1,000 it would split though. Last time they didn't split it until 1,500, 1,500, and then it shot up even farther. I think they were originally thinking to get the price down to about 300 per share with the split, and it ended up, because the run up, it ended up going down to 400 per share. So the goal when they did that, in my opinion, was to open it up to make it easier to give out shares to their employees and to make it easier for retail investors to buy into it. I can see them wanting to do that again. If the share price gets up so high and it makes it difficult for them to accomplish those other two things. If they think it's out of reach to the regular folks, regular investors out there, and it hurts their ability to give shares to their employees, I can see them doing the split again. But I don't know what plays into that decision, numbers-wise, what they use to determine when to do the split. Chevy Guy, curious if SBE share value will drop once merger takes place. Possibly. It seems like the share prices on those SPACs have been dropping after the mergers take place, at least a bit. But it likely just depends more on the companies that it's happening to. Timing-wise, when that merger takes place, when is that merger takes place? I'm surprised it hasn't already. Timing-wise, with the incoming administration and the efforts that are going to go towards building that nationwide network, it may take off after the merger. Talented Claw, being on vacation, you've been missing the morning streams, kind of miss it. Well, we miss you too. Good to be on vacation, though. Did you get a chance to travel anywhere, or are you just taking some time off? Travel is tough these days. Baby girl, is it too late to buy Tesla? It's never too late to buy Tesla. Depends on what your goals are in it, though. For the most part, everybody waiting to buy it on a dip. It hasn't really dipped much yet. When is it going to happen? I don't know. If you're going to hold it for long term, it probably doesn't matter. You just start dollar cost averaging in. If you just make a plan to start buying in every week or every month or however often you can do it, then you don't have to worry about it. You just buy it at whatever price it is. Larry says, Beam has been going nuts. You're up 180%. I heard that one took off. Self-contained solar, portable charging system. Nice. Yeah, I heard that one took off. I didn't pay attention to it today, though. Let's take a look. Take a quick look. I do have it on my watch list, but I did not spend any time looking at my watch list today. I was in meetings for most of the day. I missed out on that $20 run-up that Tesla did because I was in meetings. All right, where's Beam? Oh, I must have put it in my watch list on this app. There it is. Beam, $67.95. Wow. It hit 75 at one point. That's amazing. How much of that was today? Not a whole lot of it was today, but what a good run. That's great that you were able to get in on that. BDN, how the XPEV option works. Well, I'll have to talk to you about that. In Discord. It's going to be too hard to explain it without having a visual in front of us. Chevy Guy, January 15th, SBE tentative merger day. Oh, okay, cool. Hey, that's coming up quick. Nice. Christopher Luna, good evening. He says he would wait until after the stock dips after Q4 deliveries before getting into Tesla. Also, you can buy fractional shares if you don't have enough to buy full shares. Yeah, I don't know how much dip there's going to be after the fourth quarter delivery numbers are announced. There's typically a run-up from delivery announcement. If it's record number of deliveries, there's a run-up until earnings. So you might have to wait until after earnings before we see a dip. And who knows when it's going to be. Although, I mean, there's got to be at least a small dip in there somewhere. It's not just going to run up nonstop between now and then, you would think. Tesla's always surprising us. Who would have thought we would have been back up close to 700 by now? I didn't. I thought for sure we would have been at closer to 600 this week until we saw the deliveries come out. So that was a big surprise. You heard SBE is only buying 10% of Switchback in the merger. Can anyone confirm? I think I recall something about that. That SBE is going to be a 10% owner of Switchback. Let's take a look. it would be ChargePoint. Yeah, it would be a 10% owner of ChargePoint. Let's see. But I think they're planning to be a 10% owner in a different company. Yeah, I'm not seeing the answer. I'm not seeing the answer to that very quickly. We'll see if somebody has some info on there. Baby girl, what do I think of Palantir? I have not been following Palantir. Palantir had a lot of excitement around it. Probably still does, but it has come back a little bit to reality. I think there's been a healthy pullback. Let's see where Palantir's at. Back to 25.10 from a high of 33. Yeah, nice healthy little pullback. It's doing some consolidating, it looks like. Yeah, it actually looks like it's forming a probably a bull flag. So it could be poised to go back up at some point in the near future. That's just checking out the daily chart. Let me take a look here. Yeah, still doing some consolidation. I don't think it's breaking out. I don't think it's breaking out tomorrow. But it could. It could soon. What's your take on Allianz IUL so far? Ben asks. I like it. I like Allianz IUL. There's so many things about it that make it an ideal IUL for potential growth with the high cash value design that I do with them. It's got uncapped indexes, uncapped index options. They're volatility indexes, and so you get a greater than 100% participation rate. The indexes have historically performed really well, like 7 to 8% over the last 15 years. And then you get, 120, 135, 160% on top of that from the participation rate. And then they have bonus options that are available as well, which can add to that. And to top it off, you have the ability to lock in the gains. So they have a lock feature that's unique to those indexes. So a lot of really good opportunity to have more control over the types of gains that you can get in the indexes that they offer. Now, beyond the index options, Allianz gives me the ability to minimize the costs in the policy more than most every other company out there. So when we design those policies, when I design the IULs with Allianz, we have what's called base face amount, which is the base death benefit, and then we have additional protection benefit or supplemental term, it's sometimes called. Well, all of the life insurance that you buy in the death benefit, whether it's base premium or additional protection benefit or supplemental term, it's all annual renewable term. The only difference is the base premium or the base face amount pays me a commission, and the supplemental term does not pay me a commission. Well, most every carrier out there limits you to a 3-to-1 split between how much I can put into the uncommissioned rider as compared to the commissioned face amount. So if I do 100,000 face amount, I can do 300,000 on that rider. Allianz allows me to do up to 10 to 1 if you're between 18 and 50. 10 to 1. That means I can sell you a policy and make the same commission whether the death benefit is 100,000 or 1.1 million. That's incredible. And what that does is it means I'm not incentivized to sell you more death benefit than you need. Typically, if I had all the death benefit under that base face amount, the higher that death benefit is, the higher my commission is going to be. But because of the way I design it, there's no incentive to give you more death benefit than you need. And so we dial this policy in to be just enough death benefit that you need in order to make the contributions that you want to put into it. So I like the Allianz because they allow me to minimize that cost, and they've got awesome index options. Yeah, I mean that's about all I have to say about that. A lot of good things. A lot of good things. BDN question: if you buy Tesla in the morning, sell it around closing time, what is the tax impact? Your tax impact is going to be short-term capital gains, which is basically the same as your regular income tax rate. And that's the case on any stock that you don't hold on to for longer than a year. You have to hold on to a stock or option for longer than a year in order to claim any gains as long-term capital gains. BDN, tomorrow's the last day of the tax year. Tomorrow is the last day of the tax year, but yesterday, from what I hear, was the last day to basically sell anything in your portfolio to get the losses that you need, because it needs time to close. So if you haven't sold it already, you're already too late. Any profits you realize tomorrow are going to be on next year's tax return. Probably any profits you had today as well, any trades you made today, going to be on next year's tax return. Chevy guy says, Palantir is a good company. You have a big position in it. Another one to invest in is ABCL, Abcelera. Peter Thiel is invested in both. They're promising companies. All right. He says he would wait on ABCL, though. Started at 60 when it IPO'd, but gradually going down. Good buy at mid-30s in your opinion. All right. Good to know. Ben, did I answer your question well on that Allianz IUL? Or do you have any follow-up questions? And does anybody else have any questions? Literally anything about finance, we will try and help you out. We've even got into vehicle leases in the past. Mary, hello. Is 47 too old for an IUL? No, it's not. So in one of my videos, one of my IUL videos, I did a 3-part series that's really popular. I offhandedly mentioned that over 45 is not usually recommended for an IUL, but that's with a typical IUL design. With a typical IUL design, the agent gets paid a lot of commission, you don't have much cash value in the first year or two, and you're going to need 15 to 20 years of ramp up in order to overcome those costs and have a good performing policy. With the way that I design them right now, we've designed good IULs even for up to a 60-year-old. A lot of that's just going to depend on how much you have to put into the policy. The more you have to put into it, the older you can be, and it can still make sense. Okay? Baby girl, how did you find what stock to day trade? With any stock, if you want to trade it, what I find is it's best to do it with one that you would like to own to begin with. 2, it's a company that you like, so you're bullish on it. You think it's going to be going up. I think it's easier to day trade on something that you expect to go up, because there's so many different ways to approach it. But also, it's a company that you'll follow along with. It doesn't bore you to follow along with it. You may encounter it on your day-to-day, just going about your business. If it's a store that you shop at, or if they sell products that you buy. So, I would say start there. And then you can branch out as you learn about other stores or companies or products in that sector. You may find yourself branching out. And then as you interact with other traders, they may get you tipped onto one or two other stocks. But you want to do at least a little bit of research before you just hop into them. Don't get FOMO, fear of missing out. Be patient. You'll most likely do the best if you just stick to trading with companies that you know. Because you kind of get a feel for them after time. Now with Tesla, I started doing Tesla like 5 months ago, maybe 6 months ago, and I've just been watching it every day and trading it every day. Even still, I don't know what it's going to do some days because Tesla's a beast of its own. But I get a pretty good idea. I have a pretty good feel for it. I've made some money on Tesla. Certainly more so than some flyer stocks that I've tried to trade that I didn't know much about. So I definitely think you have a better opportunity if you stick with companies that you pay attention to and you know. Yeah, what are you looking at, Nick? Baby girl wants to invest $10,000, but you don't know much, and you don't know much of day trading. So don't rush into it. Don't rush into it. You got to understand most day traders lose money. I think the statistic out there is like 90% of day traders lose money. So day trading is not the ideal way to build your wealth. Best thing you could do is find a company that you like, dollar cost average into it, and you'll probably be okay. You can do that with a number of companies, and you'll be okay. In fact, most people, when you just dollar cost average into it and you buy and hold, those people do a lot better than day traders, by far. Now, that doesn't mean all day traders, because some day traders are very, very successful. But for the most part, don't worry about it too much that you're missing out because you hear other people only talk about their wins. There's a lot of losses that happen for day traders. I've lost a lot. If you watch my videos, I talk about those losses. I've made some bad mistakes. I hold on to stuff too long. I get in, if I'm getting in for a quick trade and it goes the wrong direction, I don't get out quick enough. Like, those are things that I need to learn to get better. And I'm doing a lot of research to try and get better in all areas of trading. So spend the time to get better at it before you start to put a lot more money into it. Don't just hop in because you got money burning a hole in your pocket. The other thing you could do is you need to kind of figure out what style of trading is going to fit you best. In my opinion, not everybody's fit for day trading. Some people prefer to just swing trade. Some people have the time to sit in front of the computer all day and day trade. Some people don't. That's where swing trading comes in handy. If you don't have $25,000 in an account, you can't day trade. You're going to get hit with day trade violations, and you'll get locked out of your account. You can only do like 3 day trades a week, and if you don't have more than $25,000 in an account. So you need to get comfortable with swing trades, which means you buy one day, you sell it the next day. You can sell one day and buy that same day. That's not a day trade. But if you buy it and sell it on the same day, even with options, counts as a day trade. So you got to learn all of these ins and outs before you get yourself into trouble. I hear about a lot of people that get themselves into trouble. CDG, does blending the term on Allianz help reduce surrender charges? Yes, it does. Do you have to wait a year to access the cash value on Allianz? No, you don't. So that's the other thing I like about Allianz. So my first policy was with National Life. National Life makes you wait a year. Not really a big deal. I was able to wait a year, but because I had to wait a year, I couldn't do as big of a policy as I wanted. Like, I would do larger policies if I don't have to wait a year. With Allianz, you can access it within the first 30 days. So it makes it a lot easier. The surrender charges, the way that I design the policies, doesn't matter which carrier, the surrender charges are greatly reduced. You still have surrender charges, and they're still not going to be fun if you cancel your policy or you want to trade out of it in the first year or the first couple of years, but it's definitely reduced. So on a poorly designed policy, if you're putting in $10,000 a year, you might have 2 or on a poorly designed policy, you might have zero cash value that first year. So if you decide it's not for you, or you want to change your mind on that policy, you're going to take a $10,000 hit. If, however, it's designed good, you're going to have a lot of cash value in year one, even if you can't access it, if you're with National Life. But your surrender charge is only going to be a couple $1,000. Same thing with Allianz. You can access the money, but the surrender charge is only going to be a couple $1,000. Now, if you want, the thing that Allianz offers that National Life does not, is Allianz offers an enhanced liquidity rider. You got to pay a little bit extra for it, but what that does, it does away with the surrender charges completely. So you have access to the full cash value. It costs you a couple $100 extra, and it basically gives you access to another $1,800 or so that you could borrow against. So I usually don't include it unless somebody thinks there's a good chance that they're going to need access to every dollar in that policy that they put in that first year. If you can make it past that first year without having to borrow everything out of it, you're pretty confident. Don't pay those extra fees, because it's going to cost you in the long run. That's more money that's not going to compound. So no need to use the enhanced liquidity rider. Just sit on it, wait through the surrender period, and after the first couple of years, you're going to have plenty of cash value. You'll be able to do what you need with the policy anyways. You're welcome, baby girl. Key Perry, I know this has been discussed before. When you're lending money from your policy to folks to help with their credit, do you have people sign promissory notes, or how do you get protection from them taking the money? Yeah, you sign promissory notes. I mean, we just do a contract. So I have contracts that I do when I loan folks money. So what's your process for lending, and do they pay you back monthly or some other arrangement? I'm usually pretty flexible. So we have the capability, if I'm loaning from it, I have the ability to be very flexible on their payment plan. So if I'm doing it to help somebody out, I'm going to find out what's realistic for you. What's a good payback period? Do you need to maybe start your payments in a few months and go, 2 or 3 or 6 months without making any payments? As long as I feel comfortable that they are intent on paying me back, and we make it easy for them to pay us back, I think they will pay us back. I think, I don't know, not everybody, some people will screw you, obviously, take advantage. So you got to do your best to minimize that, and that's where you have the contracts in place. But for the most part, I try and be very lenient in bugging people, especially during this pandemic. So I've had people that have been slow to pay me back due to the pandemic, and I understand, I don't have to have that money, so I'm okay with just waiting. And I think they appreciate that. So hopefully when they get back on their feet and the pandemic has passed, they'll make it a priority to pay me back. Yeah, Happy New Year to you too. Nick also swing trades a bit. Yep. Chevy Guy, what happens if a life insurance company goes out of business? Are they federally insured like banks? No, they are not federally insured like banks, but there is a state insurance company in every state that acts very similarly to FDIC insurance. And so there is guarantees through that, and there's also through that same state agency, all of the other insurance companies that are licensed in that state, they all basically, when an insurance company goes out of business, which doesn't happen very often, but when one does go out of business, they all split up all the policies in there, so the policies will still be in effect. The ones that won't, you're in that FDIC insurance type of scenario. But for the most part, most of those carriers are willing to take on any of the policies that they need to. So it ends up being a pretty smooth transition. If it goes to that state agency and you have the limits, it's just like the FDIC. If you have $1 million in your account, you don't get all of it. You're only guaranteed up to like $200,000, right? FDIC insurance, or however much it is these days. Same thing in this scenario. They're probably not going to guarantee your whole policy if you have very large policies, but they do guarantee some of it. So Always important, though, to make sure that you're working with large companies, that you don't have to worry about them going out of business. There's plenty out there that are awesome. They've been around for 200 years. We expect them to be around for another 200. Nick, did BDN say something? So buy in the morning, sell it in the closing, considered not a day trade. No, that is a day trade. That is a day trade. If you buy it that same day, if you buy and sell the same day, it is a day trade. Yeah, you have to sell it a different day or it's a day trade. Yep. Now you can sell a stock and buy a stock that same day. It could be the same stock. If you sell it and buy it, that's not a day trade. But if you buy it and sell it that same day, that's a day trade. Excuse me. Harry Toe, your account's been restricted for the second time this year. If you keep getting restricted, is there a penalty? Ooh, what was the restriction for? Pattern day trading or good faith violation? Baby girl, do you think it will be another crush on the stock market? Oh, do I think there will be another crash in the market? Is that what you're asking? There's always going to be another crash. We just don't know when. It's very cyclical. Key Perry, how do you advise folks on how and when to pay back policy loans, if at all? It really depends on your situation. What I always recommend is try to at least pay the interest each year. If you at least pay the interest each year, the cash value in the policy is going to compound and the loans will not compound. The loan interest will not compound. So you'll always get some separation growth there. So when we borrow from the policy, hopefully we're borrowing from the policy in order to invest in some type of cash flowing asset or something that generates a greater return than what we're borrowing from. So we're always going to have the ability to cover that interest. You always want to be able to at least cover that interest. What you do with the extra, no big deal, whatever. For me, I'm okay with piling up those loans. However, you got to realize, if you're constantly borrowing against it, that loan interest is going to add up year after year after year. So we want the amount that you're going to end up repaying each year is going to keep adding up. That's why it's important that you're investing that money into cash flowing assets that can continue to cover that interest cost. It's how you get ahead of the game. If you need to do a lot of borrowing like that, it's how you get ahead of the game. Harry Toe, pattern day trading, overlapping on your settling dates. Overlapping on the settling dates is not going to ding you with pattern day trading. Overlapping on settling dates could get you a good faith violation. So that can definitely be a problem. Good faith violations are worse than pattern day trading. Although pattern day trading, they can lock you out for 90 days if you get too many of them. But just having two, yeah, if it's a cash account, you're likely getting hit with good faith violations. Because that's the problem I have in my cash account, is I get hit with good faith. Well, I get a warning. Luckily, Webull warns you if you're going to get a good faith violation if you try and sell too early before the cash settles that you bought the stock with. Some other brokerages, apparently they don't warn you. They just hit you with a good faith violation. So, luckily my account that I have that with, it's my Roth. It's in Webull. They do give me a warning. So there's been a number of times where I would have committed some good faith violations without knowing it if I didn't get warned about it. So you got to watch out for that. The good faith violations stick around for a year. So you get 3 of them within a year, and you can get kicked out. Like they'll just close your account or something like that. It's not a good position to be in. So be careful with that. Pattern day trading, though, you get locked out for 90 days. So it's definitely worse if it's a good faith violation. So hopefully that helps you out. What brokerage are you using? pretty happy with my cash account in Webull for the most part, except they don't let me trade options with my retirement account. I wish they would, because then I could sell covered calls. I'm gonna have to move that out of there, because when I start getting enough money in that Roth account, which I'm up 50% on the year on already, but I'm accumulating hundreds of shares of different companies, and I want to be able to sell covered calls against them, but they won't let me do it. It's kind of a bummer. Mary, on the Allianz Life IUL, is the blended index the cap rate? You notice cap rate variations from 9 to 14.5. I'm not sure. Are you asking what is the blended index cap rate? Or what's the cap rate with the blended index? The cap rate with the blended index varies depending on which bonus option you choose. So the bonus option, if you choose the 40% bonus option, I think the cap rate's 10% right now. If you choose the 15% bonus option, I think it's 10.5. If you choose no bonus option, it's like 14%, 14 or 15%. So there's a number of different choices, and it just depends on which one you go with. The blended index is not my favorite choice that they offer. I prefer the Bloomberg and the PIMCO. Those are volatility indexes. They're actively managed volatility indexes that are not proprietary to Allianz. So you can just Google them and see how they're performing. Those are really good options, and there's no caps. So with the blended index, yeah, you're going to be stuck at a 14 or 15% cap rate. Well, with those uncapped ones, in 2017, you could have seen 26 to 30% return with an uncapped index. In 2019, you would have been, I don't know, maybe 5% less than that, 21 to 25% return. So yeah, not having the caps, huge difference. Harry Toe, 90 days. Thanks for answering. Okay, good. So then it must not be overlapping on your settling dates then. That's the problem. You must have just bought and sold the same day. That should not have to do with the settling dates. Usually the settling dates is a good faith violation. Oh, Charles Schwab. Yeah, I heard that. I think they're one of the ones that don't give you a warning ahead of time. So you're going to have to watch out for that. That's tough. Macy, how are you doing this evening? When you're trading, do you have a set profit amount target you want to reach every day, or how do you say it's enough? That's a good question. It probably would be a good idea if I did have that. But since I'm doing a live stream and I'm just sitting here in front of it, I just keep trading. And oftentimes I do too much because I'm in front of the computer all day. I would probably be a better trader in two circumstances. One, if I wasn't doing a live stream, because I can't do all the research I need to do and I can't pay attention, so I rely on the viewers to help fill in some of the information gaps that I end up with. And two, if I don't have other meetings throughout the day during the market trading hours. Because like today, I missed out on that $20 run-up that Tesla did. That could have been a $2,000 gain for me. But I completely missed it because I was in back-to-back meetings during that whole run-up. My meetings ended right after it hit the peak. It was kind of bad timing on my part. But yeah, for a lot of folks, it is a good idea to set a target. And if you reach the target, great. It's also a good idea to have a plan. Like, some days are just not your days. How do you recognize if that's the day before you lose too much? For some people, they make a few bad trades and they call it quits. Like they'll just come back, start fresh the next day, because it just bad jives that day. So there's a number of different ways you can approach that. Mary, you have an option for no cap. Yes, you do. Yep. I'm always serious. Okay, not always serious. But when I'm talking about life insurance policies and I'm trying to educate you guys on what's available out there, I'm serious. Always serious. Fidelity allows you to trade options in SEP IRA. Yes. Yeah, I almost switched to Fidelity, but it was going to be like a 30 days to get the account transferred over, and I was doing pretty good. At the time I was looking to trade out of it, I was probably up $500. So I started with 6,000. I was up 500. Now I'm up close to 9,000. So I'm up almost 50% because I didn't do that. What I really like about Webull is I get to trade in the really early morning hours. They give me 14 hours throughout the day that I can trade. 1 a.m. my time to 5 p.m. my time. That's huge. Now, unfortunately, it means I got to get up really early sometimes, but you know, it's just something I got to do if I'm looking to hit some certain trades. But Fidelity, I don't know if Fidelity gives me quite that big of a range. I think they do. I think Fidelity does. I think they do offer all the way until 1 a.m. But TD Ameritrade, who I ended up starting my account with, they don't start until 4 a.m. Unfortunately, it's a little bit frustrating. But for that one, I started a business account. So I opened a business account with TDA. So I am still figuring out. I got to figure out what I'm going to do with my Roth. I do need to move it into something. I don't care for the trading platform in Fidelity. Although I've seen they have a pro account. Maybe that one's easier. But I opened it. I played around with it a little bit. I just don't like the feel of it. It's not. I got to get more used to that style of options trading, which I'm starting to get used to with Thinkorswim. Chevy guy, you'd be content with 100 a day. That's an extra 2,500 a month. Sure, but you know, some days you'll lose money. So you got to shoot a little bit higher if your goal is 2,500 a month. But yeah, I mean, who wouldn't be happy with 100 a day? I'd be happy at 100 a day. Although sometimes, like today, I had about a $2,400 day today. But that wasn't. It's not a complete 2,400. That's just some of the positions I'm in went up. Those could go backwards. I'm not selling out of them yet because I still have a lot of upside in them. I don't know how much of that I actually made. Probably maybe a third of that I actually made today based on just doing some day trades. Let's see. Baby girl, you have a question in the job they give you. Price match in 401k. It's Fidelity. What is the best way to choose where to invest the money? That's good. I always like to do the match. You always want to get at least the match in your 401k. Do you have, most of the time in a 401k, you don't have the ability to choose except for between whatever funds they're offering. So you usually don't get the opportunity to go invest yourself. If you do, that's amazing. But I can't tell you where to invest in those. I'm not licensed for securities. And without seeing it in front of me, I can't even tell you what I would do in that situation. So unfortunately, not able to be much help for you on that one. Nick sometimes gets mad with his TD. Fidelity's based out of Boston, Massachusetts. Okay. Nick needs to put some more in his Webull. Some mornings you're mad you can't buy stuff on TD. Yep, I hear ya. Ben Pham, hello. Ben Pham got his Tesla tequila today. Lucky guy. Hope mine gets here soon. Do I like leaderboard and IBD? I don't know what leaderboard is. I don't know what IBD is either. What are those? What's a good website for options play? I don't know. I've heard Tasty Trade is really good for options, but that's like a brokerage. I've been watching, there's a lot of YouTube videos that are helpful on learning options. Investors Business Daily. Oh, okay, I do get their emails, but I haven't really gotten any really good stuff from them yet. I just recently started getting them though, and they were doing some weird Christmas Day thing, which 12 days of Christmas or something, which I don't know. I didn't care for the format, and so I just skipped those emails. Oh, they charge. Well, I'm getting some that are free. What is it I'm getting? I signed up for something that's free. Oh, I'm looking at Investors Observer, not Investors Business Daily. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm not a part of those. I'm not a part of that one. Investors Observer is the one I was talking about. But yeah, I don't know about either of those. My opinion, though, the more information you can get, the better. If it's not too much for you to absorb, the more information, the better to help you make decisions. You just got to figure out how to filter what you need from the different sources that you're going to end up using. BDN, overall, the holiday time trades are slow. After hours, it does seem like it. Like, I've never seen Tesla trade straight sideways like they did today after hours. That was kind of weird. And apparently moving money around these holiday times can be a little slower too. I heard somebody say that the money they were trying to deposit was slowed down because of it. All right. If you guys got any more questions, put them up. I'm going to do a quick check. How many likes do we have so far? We got 24 viewers. How many people hit that like button so far? If you're watching, if you're enjoying the content, hit the like button. It does help us get the word out. We can get some more folks in here. They might ask some questions that you didn't think of that are relevant to you. We got 13 likes. All right, we can do a little bit better than that. I think we can do a little bit better than that. Chevy Guy, do I think a big sell-off tomorrow for tax reasons? No, I don't. I think yesterday was the last day for that. Yeah, I think yesterday was the last day for the sell-off for tax reasons. There's going to be people who don't realize that, and they'll sell off today and tomorrow because of that. But not most people, because they already know what's up. Mary just hit it. Thanks. You're welcome. I hope it helps. Ron Parks, thank you and good evening. Thank you and good evening. Well, if I don't see any more questions come up, I'm going to hop off of here. I usually try and go for about an hour, so we got another 6 minutes. I'll stick around if you guys have questions. But I did get up at 1 a.m. this morning because I had some trades. Actually, I think it was more like 1:40. And I was doing some research middle of the night, so I'm a little bit tired. Got to eat some dinner and hit the sack, get some rest, because we're going to be back at it again tomorrow. But I do appreciate you all being here and asking me all these great questions. My hope is that some other people will watch it after we're done on this and get some value out of these questions as well. Top Gun, you're beat too. I get it. Good night, man. It's been a long month. BDN, how come brokerage folks never inform you about the end of the tax year? That's a good question. Now that I think about it, I don't think I was informed either from any of my 3 different brokerages. Actually, I'm a part of 4 different brokerages. Not one of them sent me something about it. Although maybe I deleted it. I don't know. Maybe they do try and notify us in an email. And I just delete it. Ron, see you in the morning. Time to hit the Bloody Mary. All right. Do what you got to do, man. Do what you got to do. Take the edge off. All right. I'm going to play you guys out with some music here. And we will see you bright and early. And we'll be back again next Wednesday. Same time, 6 o'clock. So if you guys have any questions, you can be back here then. Or if you can't make it, you can always leave me a voicemail message on my website, OregonCashflowPro.com. Leave me a voicemail message. If I play it during one of these live streams, you get to win a t-shirt. Just for me playing your question. So I'm always on the lookout for some good questions. And still wanting to give away more goodies. Ben Fam's going to share some shots of Tesla tequila. Very good, very good. Well, you and BDN are both in California. You might be able to connect and make that happen. Chevy guy, see you in the morning. Okay. What time tomorrow morning? I do a live stream to open the market every morning. So 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 9 a.m. Eastern Time. So I start a half hour before time. I go through a little bit of Tesla news, Tesla stock news, or anything else that hits my fancy, and then we start talking about the day. We try and plan our day ahead, talk about stocks that are on our radar, and then the market opens, and I try and go for another hour and a half to 2 hours, and then I try to get off, leave myself a half hour to start getting ready for my meetings for the day. So that's my typical routine. All right. Well, thank you all for joining me. Play you out with some music here, and we'll see you next time. Hey, Nick. Liking your computer. Good. Much better than the Chromebook. Oh, that's nice. I loved my Chromebook. I gave it to my daughter, though, because I couldn't do video editing on it. You're welcome, baby girl. I hope it helps. Oh, and enjoy the new year. Everybody have a happy new year. I don't see you again before then.